Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Computer America program. It's our pre-show. Mike Cermak is here with us tonight. The owner-operator of TechGuide.org is going to be joining us for the first hour. It's open mic night. Any question you have on computers and technology, we're here to help you. And then in the second hour, we'll digress to computer and technology news, and that's brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America, and also a surprise visitor is here with us tonight. Aaron.
1 minute until showtime.
Aaron Crossman is here. He's our webmaster, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the website tonight and mostly tomorrow night. We'll be joining us for the full hour. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show as we begin 2 hours of Computer America.
It's going to take about 2 hours to explain why we don't have a new website. So.
Oh, we have trivia too. Yes, exactly.
Oh, man.
All right, 30 seconds.
Ben and I actually have a running bet on tonight's trivia.
What
I hope it's hard.
Is that your TV in the background I hear, Aaron? No.
It might be.
Uh-oh.
I think it's you in my background.
Well, I'm hearing
Here, I'll be right back.
All right.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman. And he's muted.
And I'm your guest, Mike Cermak.
Nah, Ben, we can't hear you. All right, he's giving me the sign.
Does he know sign language? Can he say, and I'm your co-host?
He may have to sign it, yeah. I think that's I'm the heck out of here. I think it's the bird playing away. No, we can't hear you for some reason all of a sudden. See, this is what happens when you mess around with the controls a minute before we go on the air.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I think it's because... Oh.
Now we hear you. Okay, what happened?
I promise you, I've been talking for the last 15 minutes. I was wondering why everyone was ignoring me. I feel so bad for talking, I swear. I was answering, I was involved with you guys, and nothing. I was feeling like it was like high school all over again. That was awful.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard, Ben. That just made my night.
All right, and I'm your co-host, Ben.
There he is.
I thought it was just because he was in space. I thought maybe sound waves didn't travel.
You can hear me scream.
Yeah.
Well, welcome into the Computer America show. It's a Wednesday. It's our Wednesday Madness show. As you can see, we've already started up with the Wednesday Madness. We got a great program planned for you tonight. In the second hour of the show, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. They are the official optimization software of Computer America. And in the first hour, we're going to have open mic night. That's right. Any questions you have about computers and technology, we're going to be able to answer them because also helping us in that effort is our good friend and buddy Mike Cermak, who is the owner-operator of TechGuide.org, which is a website dedicated to helping others with their computer problems and answering their questions. So if you're looking for free technical support, TechGuide.org is the right place for you to be. It's been around since 1996, and Mike's site is run completely by volunteers, paid completely by donations and sponsors. Mike is also one of our Computer America correspondents who appears on every first Wednesday Madness of the month. Mike, welcome into Computer America.
Thank you very much. How are you guys doing this evening?
I don't know. Can you hear him? I can't hear him.
That's very funny. Very funny, yeah. Uh-huh. I see how it is.
Hey, no, listen. Now, by the way, if you want to get in the action, you want to call and ask a question, just call us at 347, pick up the phone, 347-884-8881. That's 347 884-8881. That number will get you on, and it'll get you through. We're going to stop the email. We're not going to give out email anymore. We want you to call us.
Dang right.
But you can join us in our live interactive chat room from Computer America homepage. Just click the chat room button, and you'll see our brand new chat room. It's up. It's in place. A lot of people in there. They would love to speak with you and chat with you, and we would love for you to join us in the Computer America chat room. This is only, of course, when you listen to the show live every Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. All right. So
otherwise, you'll be very lonely in the chat room.
Yeah, right. Well, you can chat with yourself,
I do that all the time.
Exactly. And of course, joining us also for both hours is our webmeister, none other than Aaron Crossman. Here is with us tonight as well. Aaron, hey, welcome to the show. I can't hear a word here.
All right,
He muted himself. Okay. For some reason, he's muted. No, you in the Hangouts you muted it. So I guess I can unmute him if he wants me.
Man, I so pulled a Ben. Oh, I was sitting there, I was chiming in. I just wanted to say that the chat, we've actually had people hanging out in the chat, not during show hours, so you never know who you might find.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Anyhow, so here we are, and again, like 347-884-8881. That's going to be the primary way for you to communicate with us from now on as we make the changes. We still have our email, but we're not going to really give it out. If you want it, you can go to our website and find that. But most of we were just going to be taking phone calls and people who participate with us in our Computer America chat room.
Email is dead. Email is so 2003.
It's not that it's dead, it's just, okay, so you can either call into the show and ask your question in person and get it answered immediately, or if you'd rather prefer some anonymity, go to the chat. I mean, that's faster than an email. We're going to see the chat much faster, so those are the two choices that have always existed. We're just replacing.
I'm glad you said anonymity, because we do backtrack the phone calls and find out where you live. So
it's
the chat room is completely anonymous. You just make up any kind of thing you want and you're in. I mean, we took up all the restrictions from chat, so we want to make it as easy for you to participate in our chat room. So that's what we're doing. So there it is. Or again, 347-884-8881. If you go to computeramerica.com, you'll see the phone numbers. Everything's up there as well. If you forget or you come in, you're joining us in the middle of the show. One of the things I just want to point out again, Ben continues to improve his computer video technology, because that's right. Not only we're a radio talk show, however, we're making it so that you can watch the program as well. That's right. When you click that chat room /live video, you will see the live video stream. It will just start right up automatically, and you're ready to go. And you can watch the show. You can see me, you can see Ben, you can see Mike Cermak tonight, you can see Aaron Crossman, you can see all of us today. And it's just a big party that we're having here, and we just like to have you join in on the fun and frolic that we have here, which is what Computer America is all about. And from time to time, we give out some great advice as well. The other thing that, since Mike, traditionally, we've started some things with him, we always ask him to pick a topic that he'd like to talk about. Also, Mike's going to have a trivia contest for Ben and myself. Maybe Aaron can join in too. It'll be fun, and we can do that. And we see some phone calls coming in really quick. Should I take a phone call now before we even get started, Ben, or wait?
That's dangerous since I haven't screened them. But hey, if you want to roll the dice, it's your business.
Live dangerously.
Okay, we'll live dangerously. Hey, lunch, Computer America, Craig Crossman, how are you?
Always live dangerously. How you doing?
Hey. You got a question for us?
Yeah, actually, I have a question for Mike.
Okay, go for it.
Mike, as you're probably aware of NVIDIA's GTX 970 controversy.
I'm not.
Where now people are trying to file a class action lawsuit against NVIDIA, saying that they were scammed when it came, or improperly informed on the actual specs of the 970. What is your thoughts on that?
I'm not really familiar with it. I'm looking it up as we speak. It says there was some kind of memory issue with it.
Yeah, I think
Correct.
there was a there was a problem with the software. Well, like all the hardware was right, but the software was when they first purchased it either not coded or not implemented correctly, and it actually gave people a lower performance than what was actually said on the graphics card. And I think they later fixed it through a software update. But for the first stretch there, and I think they were trying to brush it under the rug. They weren't just going to try to ignore it. But for the first part there, it was actually being being oversold. Like it couldn't perform.
Well, I mean, if they were able to
Well,
fix it after the fact, I mean,
the numbers, even when it was, even in its early stages, the card was still, I mean, for $300, you could not beat it. I mean, it still is an absolutely magnificent card. But I was wondering, because it's actually rated right now, I think at 3.5 gigabytes.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading.
GDDR5 instead of actually what it was said to be a 4.
Right. Yeah, so that's what I'm understanding from it, is that they'd originally advertised it as a 4 gigabyte video card, but in fact only 3.5 can be used.
oh, that sounds like your typical 32, almost 64-bit type. Trying to access.
Yeah. NVIDIA says that it's a misunderstanding of the specs. That is only 3.5 gigs of VRAM. Yeah, I don't know enough about it to really comment on it. I will say that in some of these class action type lawsuits, I personally feel that we're a little bit eager to sue people in this culture. So I'm always skeptical of these claims. But so I don't know. I don't know how misleading they were in saying it was 4 gigs if you can only use 3.5. If that was the key problem, which is what I seem to be reading.
Maybe this is a question that's more fitting then. Given the fact that the card for only $300 keeps up with the GTX 780 Ti, and do you think that they are justified for filing a lawsuit when the card is just an absolute power performer, even in its flawed state?
Yeah, probably. If they were truly misleading in it, if they were advertising the 4 gig instead of 3.5, and I'm not convinced that's that big of a deal, to be perfectly honest. But if there was some documentation, if you could prove that they were trying to be misleading in that, whether or not they charged $300 or $50 for the card, I think you would probably have a case on it. But I'm certainly no attorney.
Can I just say I've never purchased a hard drive that was ever where it said it was going to be. My two terabyte drives are always 1.8. I mean, I've never filed a lawsuit.
Well, and hard drive manufacturers, I think there were lawsuits back. Maybe Craig remembers some of these. I didn't mean that to sound the way it did, but there were some lawsuits I think back in the day, and now they're usually pretty careful. If you look at the retail packaging of hard drives and who buys them in retail packaging, but usually it has the fine print at the bottom that says, we count 1 gigabyte as 1,000. I mean, 1,000 kilobytes rather than 1024.
You know what else was the screen sizes? The diagonal screens were also, that was another controversial thing. They were making these screen sizes, and they were actually smaller, and the screen manufacturers were getting sued as well.
Yeah, they would measure the size of the glass, and the glass would extend into the frame of the monitor. So the glass would actually be the size they would advertise, but you couldn't see it because it was behind the frame.
Right.
Yeah, there's lots of things like that where they exaggerate a little bit.
Yeah. And the litigious society that we live in, everybody wanted.
I think there's a second side to that. It's not just we're so eager to sue, but look at the tech industry. It's so metric driven. I mean, it's all about that extra 16th of an inch. So, if there's some way your lawyer says you can get that edge over the competition, why not try it?
That's true.
You might sell 1 million products.
And it's not clear to me whether or not this card actually has 4 gigs on it or not. I think that it does, but it's partitioned from what I'm reading here. There's 2 modules. One is 3.5 gigs in size, the other 512. So saying that it is 4 gigabytes is not entirely untrue. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I'm not up in arms about it. I can tell you that for sure.
If you saw the benchmark performance numbers on it, I mean, it blows away everything. I mean, not even AMD has anything that was remotely close to it, and especially in that price range. And what really got me is that people were still bickering about it. I mean, to have a car that performs like a 780 Ti or Titan,
Yep.
$300.
Yep.
But it is currently everywhere promoted as a GTX 974 gigabyte.
Mm-hmm.
That is how it's promoted on Newegg, Best Buy, everywhere.
All right, Sean. Well, listen, thanks so much for calling. And
Shane.
Shane.
Yeah, Shane, right? Yeah, I was about to say.
Come back, Shane. Yes, okay. Shane, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
That was a good question. I didn't know anything about it. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but I couldn't see him because I was squinting. Hey, Shane, thanks so much for being here on the show tonight. Keep listening, okay?
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, bye-bye. All right, 347-884, little inside humor. 347-884-8881. I'll get you through. Mike Cermak is here, and we're here to answer your questions. I don't know. Do you think Shane knows that you have a Titan X, Ben?
He has to. I've been on my roof screaming about it every day since I got it.
Okay.
I always wake up, grab my morning coffee, do a stretch, some naked hot yoga, and then go up on my roof. And,
Wait, what? Did I miss something there?
and tell everyone that I have a Titan X. So, I mean...
And we want to get him an SLI cable so he can connect the Titan X to his other graphics card, too.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
That seems necessary.
Don't do that.
I want to do it, and I'm going to.
Unless your second card's also a Titan X. You know what? No, you should totally do it.
Oh, I am. It's already going to happen. I just need to order the cable.
Okay. I actually have a couple.
Because, like, the Titan X is the cake, and then the 560X is going to be the cherry on top.
I feel like you're going to fry
Those
your
are
cards.
computer terms for anyone. I'm sorry if I got too technical there, but it's going to be cool.
You're going to destroy both of those video cards and probably your motherboard in the process.
That'll be good.
So, as I started to say before we got our caller, is that I asked Mike to pick a topic that he'd like to talk about. And one of the things, Mike is a huge Tesla fan. He has a Tesla car himself. We've talked about it a number of times.
But not enough.
But not enough with Mike. And now Tesla is getting ready to introduce this new product that is, because it turns out Tesla is saying we're not a car company, we're a battery company.
Yeah.
Go figure. So they just introduced this new battery for your home, and it's called, what is it called again?
The Powerwall.
Powerwall. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the Powerwall. And again, if it could be off topic, you don't have you can call us if we have a different question about computers. We'll be happy to call. All right. So tell us about the Powerwall.
Yeah, so the Powerwall, they just announced here a couple of days ago, and it was expected. Everyone kind of knew this announcement was coming, but what it is a giant battery made of the same type of lithium-ion batteries that they use in the Tesla Model S. And it's essentially a giant module that you hang on the wall in your house, whether it's on the outside of your house or the inside in your garage, in your basement, whatever. And it can serve as a backup battery if the power were to fail or brownouts or whatever. But it can also serve if you have solar power. Then it can charge up the battery during times of high solar energy, and then you can use that battery at night or on rainy days or whatever, so you can kind of go off grid with it. And then the other advantage to it is in areas where where they have time kilowatt hour charges. So if your power company charges you more during the day than at night, then you could use something like this to be able to charge it up at night, even if it's off the grid, and then use it during the day to reduce your power bills. It's got a lot of different applications.
Well, didn't we kind of speculate? And I said this thing was more like a UPS for your home. I mean,
it is very much like a UPS for your home. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. It's got a lot of their main purpose in it is to try and make things more sustainable, to be able to store that power whenever it's being generated and then be able to use it when you want to use it. The trouble we have with a lot of sustainable power now, whether it's wind or solar or whatever, is a lot of times that is available at peak moments, but not constantly throughout the day where we actually need it on the grid. So by using these power walls, and they also have a larger product called the power packs, which is for commercial applications, you can kind of put some buffering around. It's like having little bits of buffered memory around to be able to store this and then be able to use it when you need it, rather than having such a huge pool on the grid. Because a big problem we have with the grid today, especially in areas like California, is that it's just overused during the day. So we have periods of rolling brownouts during when everyone has their air conditioning running, and then at night nobody's using the grid, and there's lots of capability available. So having these sort of units around could make a big difference on trying to equal that out.
Now, so let me ask you this: is this Powerwall basically like an inline power UPS? In other words, you're not really running off you're running through the battery. In other words, so if you have a quick brownout or drop momentarily, it's not like it has to fire up and power you. You're always going to be you're not going to feel the hiccup. You're going to coast right through it. Is it set up to do that? Is that what it's like?
I believe so. Yeah, that's my understanding of it. I think that you can select to have your house wired up so that only certain circuits are connected through it, because of course you can choose what capacity of power wall you get. So you would want your critical, your TV and critical things on that. That was a joke. No one laughed at my joke. And the TV is one of the critical things, right? And other less important things like the refrigerator and so on the grid power.
I was laughing because you thought that was a joke.
I like Aaron. I really do. He's funny.
I have a question about the Powerwall actually. Any idea how much these things are going to weigh?
Interesting question. About 200 pounds.
Wow, that's great. This is probably, not going to happen, but if it's the same type of battery that they use in the cars, any word on if you could strap it to the roof of your car and go an extra 100 miles?
That's an excellent question. No, I haven't heard anything like that. I suspect some engineering student will find some way to do that. Just throw it in the frunk and wire it up. And
I've done this exact procedure before. It was for an RC truck I had, and you hot swapped the battery packs from the wall charger to the car, and the car would keep going. Like I'm getting the same thing, but for real cars. So might not work.
Now, if you're looking at Ben, you can see what the Powerwall, what it looks like. He's got it up on the background here. Let me select him here so you can actually see him. There it is.
Actually, this is a different. It's obviously the same story. We're still talking about the Tesla Powerwall, and before the show, Mike actually made this comment where they were sold out. I just found the story, poking through the news today, in that the Powerwall, which was just announced about a week and a half ago, it's now sold out through the middle of 2016.
Good grief.
They had a much bigger demand for it than they anticipated.
Yeah,
and the Powerwall is the home product for you to put in your home. And it's very popular, of course, with people with solar panels, because if you have enough panels, you can charge it up during the day and then use it at night and use almost no, or if you do it really well, no grid power at all. They also have a flip side of it called the Power Pack, which is for commercial installations for large buildings. They've installed it on several Walmarts already, and they're talking about trying to connect it to power companies as well, just to try and do that extra storage of the grid, just to keep the capacity of the grid in check.
All right, so I guess it all has to do with things like load and how many batteries you have. But basically, how long could a house coast? Let's say the local power company, the power goes out, and it's not just a brownout; it goes out for maybe an hour or so, or 2 hours. How long can your house run? In other words, is this supposed to replace like the old-fashioned generator that would come on and then run your home until it ran out of gas? I mean, how long can you sustain power with these things? Mike?
Yeah, that's a good question, and yeah, it is designed to replace that. The other thing it's also designed to replace is there have been batteries for solar panels for a long time for people who either want to go off-grid or want to have a backup system, but they've always been those lead batteries, those giant, heavy, inefficient,
Like
very short shelf life, lots of maintenance.
Lead acid. Lead acid.
Yeah, lead acid batteries, right, which just are not so great and don't have lots of deep cycles in them. So lithium-ion is much better and less maintenance for it. So to answer your question, the home batteries come in 2 different sizes, and then you can actually pack them together. Like the picture that Ben had up there, the one he has up there right now has 2 different packs together, but the one he had earlier had 3. So you can actually put them together to make a larger size if you want. But by default, they come at 7 and 10 kilowatt hour sizes. And to give you some idea here, let's see who this is. The U.S. Energy Information Administration says that the average home used about 900 kilowatt hours per month. So if I do math, that's about 30 kilowatts per day.
Right. And how many kilowatts from the batteries?
The batteries are 7 or 10 for the base ones, and then you can put more of them together.
Yeah, so 7 or 10, and you can hook up to 9 of them. At least in the residential one, you can do up to 9.
So
right.
So that means basically if 30 kilowatts a day, so you could run your house, with 3 or 4 of those, you could run your house for the day without any worry of running out of power.
Right. And if you're trying to do off-grid, most people who are doing off-grid are far more efficient than the average home, so they probably aren't using 30 kilowatts a day. They're probably using less than that. And the other side is if you're trying to do it off of solar, you don't need to put all of the power you use into the battery because during the middle of the day, you're going to be using that right away. You don't need to store it and then use it. You only need to store what you're going to be using when it's dark out. But yeah, that's right. And I think the big thing is even if you don't get 100% off grid, even if you can get partial, then I think that could be a benefit for some people.
So basically, but these are lithium-ion batteries. So once they're charged, they're not like the lead acid. They're going to stay charged. They're going to maintain their charge. So a couple of weeks go by and you don't really need them, you're fine.
That's right.
And of course, if you have solar, the solar is going to charge those as well, without having those awful big lead acid batteries out in the garage somewhere.
And the other problem with them, if you've ever seen them, Craig, is they take up a lot of space. I mean, these are still big. They're 200 pounds, but it's a pack that you hang on the wall. Whereas people I know who have solar systems with batteries have a battery room. I mean, it's literally that much of a difference.
Yeah, and the maintenance and upkeep is awful.
And just the shelf life on those batteries are just terrible.
But at the end of the day, what about the cost for one of those? Because I've never really looked into battery energy storage solutions before, and acid battery or lithium-ion battery aside, I don't know any of it. But $3,000 for the 7 kilowatt, and I think it was like 3.7, like $3,750 for the other one per unit, with another $3,000 for installation. Like, do you know off the top of your head, Mike, if that's comparable to other battery solutions?
There's no comparison in terms of safety. I'll tell you that much.
That's true, and longevity is a big part of it as well. I think that if you look at the cost, certainly the lead acid ones are going to be cheaper. I don't know how much cheaper to answer your question directly, Ben, but I think they are cheaper. But I think that over the life of the battery, it's probably very comparable. The lithium ions might still come out a little bit more expensive, but I don't know if it would be much. Over 10 years, I think that you'd probably be much better off with the lithium ion. They're going to take up a lot less space and be much more efficient and actually still be working after 10 years, as opposed to and a lot less maintenance. This thing will automatically do cycles and everything else, which isn't really even as necessary with the lithium ion as it is with the lead acid. With those, if you don't do maintenance and cycle them, they're just toast. So, but to answer your question about cost directly, I don't know what the difference is on them, and that really is the biggest problem with this is cost. Of course, it's still very expensive right now. It's $3,000 for the 7 kilowatt and $3,500 for the 10 kilowatt before installation. And if you want Solar City to do the installation, it is another like $2,000 or $3,000 to do that. But I think that we'll see that cost go down pretty dramatically. Right now, they're sold out through the middle of next year or something, or end of next year, or whatever it was. I think that when the Gigafactory comes online here in a year or two, and they're able to actually mass produce these things, and they've been around for a little while, I think we may see a pretty dramatic change in that pricing, which might make it a little bit more competitive. Because right now, unless you're really aiming to do an off-grid project, where you would need batteries, I don't see this as something that every home is going to run out and grab, or even most homes would run out and get. It's not that enticing, especially economically, unless you're trying to do an off-grid thing for other reasons. If you were looking at a battery system for your home for some reason, this is certainly going to be a great alternative to whatever you're looking at, and probably the winner of it. But for people who don't have an interest in batteries to begin with, I'm not sure why you would run out and do this just yet. Now, as the cost of the batteries go down and as the cost of the power from your power company goes up, I think those will converge in the not too distant future, in 2 to 3 years probably, and that'll be much more enticing for more people. That's just my looking into my crystal ball a little bit.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah,
so
the whole battery factory coming on in the next year or two, I mean, that's going to change. I don't want to say change everything, but it's going to be a good change because you don't have to farm out the work. They make all their stuff in the U.S., right? Like they don't outsource to China, but they do it in a number of smaller factories where they can only supply so much. So I mean, that has to be one of the reasons why they're sold out, through the middle of next year is they don't have this huge facility yet, so they have to farm the work out to a dozen smaller.
I'm gonna disagree with both of you, actually. I mean, look, this is Elon Musk. The guy's other company literally shoots for the moon.
He's tech Jesus.
It's not that Elon Musk didn't. It's not Elon Musk didn't think far enough and make a big enough factory for this crazy awesome product everybody wants. I think this is actually an extremely competitive price point. I think if you're someone who's willing to spend $3,500 on a TV, you're going to spend $3,500 on one of these to keep that TV running for 10 years. I think this is extremely competitive. I think it might have even been too competitive. They probably could have raised the price more, but
apparently based on the sales.
Exactly. I mean, I definitely see them making another factory or two here in the short term.
Guys, we can take a break here, and we'll come back. You'll see the Computer America Show on Blog Talk Network. Mike Cermak is here with us, 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. We'll be right back with them after these words. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Computer America Show.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Oh, look, you came back. Hi, this is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the WIPAC, that's W-I-P-A-C-K, Protean Puck. We got in the new WIPAC for review because of a product we've not yet had in hand, the new Samsung Galaxy S6. With no easy way to swap batteries, it makes us as stuck as an iPhone user. WIPAC is a thin, roughly handset size, 3,000 milliamp hour power puck with both key, that's QI, inductive charging, and a USB port for charging phones absent that cordless option. We've used power pucks and power puck daisy chains before to help our handset power status bars stand taller, but this is the first one that makes it more convenient to unholster the handset without towing a cable. we were able to do a function test with an Asus Nexus 7 tablet. And to be absolutely candid, when we saw the little lightning bolt on the battery icon, the smile was spontaneous. Bottom line, the WePack 3000 milliamp hour power puck for both 1 amp cable connected and wireless key inductive charging rocks. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Computer America, if we could just drill that in a little bit more into your brain. Welcome back to the show. It is Computer America after the hour, 33 Computer Americas after the hour. We are talking to Mike Cermak right now. Aaron is also joining us for reasons yet unknown, but he wandered in, he looked cold, we gave him a home.
Felt bad for him.
With that beard, how could you say no? So, we're having a nice little conversation about Tesla, talking about their Powerwall right now, and how they just announced it. No word yet on whether Mike plans on getting one or is interested in the technology.
Yes, I am interested. Well, and to go back to what Aaron was saying earlier about the Gigafactory and suggesting that there's going to be more than one, just at the end of April, Elon Musk, all bow to Elon Musk, announced that what they had previously referred to as Gigafactory is now referred to as Gigafactory 1. So certainly that implies there will soon after be a Gigafactory 2, or at least at some point in the future. So it's officially now Gigafactory 1, and even through the announcement here a couple of days ago about the Powerwall, several times they referred to it as Gigafactory 1. And the Gigafactory, for those who don't know, is in Nevada they're building, and it's 10 million square feet. Just to think about that for a minute. Wow. 10 million square feet. So that's part of the reason they're going to be able to drop the cost of these batteries so much by about 30%, or is most of the estimates. And because just the economies of scale, when you're building that many batteries that quickly all under one roof, you get a lot of economies of scale, and they'll be able to make things far more efficient.
Maybe it's a licensing issue where, like maybe Hasbro or something licensed, Gigafactory, like just without the numbers. And it was like a screen name. It's like, Computer America's taken. Have you tried Computer America 1 or Computer America _ Taco? It's like, licensing. I don't know.
Okay. So basically...
muting myself again.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this is why I've always appreciated just watching Elon Musk do his business thing. I mean, here's someone who, someone said earlier he calls Tesla not a car factory but a battery factory. Cars have been around for 150 years. He didn't invent the car. What he invented was the battery that goes in it. And and so what this is just it's so. He's done this for so many of his companies, all the way back to PayPal. I'm sure it's you take this product and it works great for what it is, but he saw a need in not just homes, which we're lacking essentially a universal power supply for the whole home, and the grid. I mean, this is something I don't think anyone's talked about yet. If this is supposed to even out the power grid, and it's so crucial we reduce carbon emissions, reduce our dependence on foreign oil, try to control our energy consumption, our infrastructure is taking a real beating. How can we try to, make it smoother? I totally see this going public sector. I see municipalities. I see large cities that are always having these issues, buying, contracting for millions of them over so many years. And this is something that really could redefine how power is stored and distributed. And it's all because it started as people thought a car company, but Elon Musk knew better, and it's so much fun to watch these things happen.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And Elon has said from the start their goal with Tesla has been to make the world more sustainable. What a crazy idea. Why would we want to do that? And and sustainable transport is a big part of that. And he said during his announcement here a couple of days ago that their that it would take 2 billion of these power packs to be able to make the whole world sustainable, so you can run it all off of renewable resources, which, you know, sounds like an awful lot. 2 billion of these. I kind of laughed when he announced that. I was like, yeah, sure, that'll be. But that's the way he looks at stuff like this. He thinks that big. Like Aaron was saying, you know, his other job is literally sending, you know, rockets up into space, and he's like, well, you know, why not? We can do this. And he said, well, you know, I forget what his statement was, but every however many years we build that many cars, so why couldn't we build that many of these battery packs and then just charge them all up with renewable resources and be done with all this whole, you know, polluting the earth thing?
Or that many rocket ships and leave it.
That's what we need. Well, and that's what he said about, you know, that's why he said that's why he founded SpaceX, was because we need to eventually become a multi-planetary. Humanity needs to be on more than one planet for backup reasons, if nothing else. Eventually, something will destroy the Earth, whether we do it or whether some other event does it or an asteroid or whatever. Eventually, the Earth is going to be gone, whether it's in 1 year or a million years. So we need to be on more than one.
I think it's far more likely we're going to end up with almost more of an alien situation where it's going to be the big money that gets out into space. It's not that we're driven into space by a disaster. It's that the first person who makes it into space is going to be so incredibly wealthy. Everyone else is going to. I mean, seriously. This. I'm a huge sci-fi nut, but you know, the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, it is essentially a whole nother inner rocky planet that couldn't form. So if you take all the wealth locked inside the Earth,
they have a number for that.
The first person to get out there and just sift through the rubble has. It's like somebody took Fort Knox of Earth.
No. They actually have a number for that. I think they priced it somewhere around $200 trillion.
Yeah, it's.
And there's a couple of companies. I know of two really big ones that are planning to do that. They're building, you know, machines to be able to go out and sift through those rocks and mine in space.
That's going to be the future of industry.
Because you know, there's nothing safer than mining. So when you put it in space, that's a good profession to get into.
What could go wrong? There's never been a movie about that.
Well, but it's part of the, you know, we're having such a hard time living within our means and trying to keep the Earth stable. You know, the fact of the matter is humanity is very good at changing things, and we haven't admitted that yet. So once we start living on a global scale, we're going to change things on a global scale, and the only way to stay ahead of that curve is to bring in more resources to fix the damage you've done to make those resources. It's true. The Matrix had it right. Humanity's a virus, and Elon Musk is trying to make sure it's able to perpetuate and doesn't just stagnate.
The Matrix is also a warning because, you know, just like all the super geniuses of today's world and all the tech giants of today's world say, hey, we need to go to Mars. Hey, we need to colonize space. Hey, we need to go out there. Sure, that's true. But they're also warning us against the robots, the AI, the impending doom that is creating.
That's a non-issue.
Wait a minute.
They're creating the batteries.
No, it's not.
Tesla is going to power the robot.
Check it out. There was a headline yesterday. Headline yesterday, right out of there was a PhD theoretical physicist, graduated Oxford. He's working in South Korea now for, I believe, a private institution. Actually, mathematically, symbolically proved that which gives us consciousness is not representable by machines.
But
that which gives us consciousness is not.
Robots are math, and math just proved that.
No. But no, not every mathematical system can be modeled by a machine. Machines only work within the framework that was used to build it. So if you derive a whole new mathematical structure that can simulate consciousness, that doesn't mean you can get a machine to think like that. The fact that we can think like that and derive a mathematical system to make consciousness, you know, means we have consciousness. You know, cogito ergo sum.
What are we talking about anymore?
Sorry, I was getting lost in it.
Did you see Outland with Sean Connery? That was about space mining. I don't know if you.
No, I haven't.
No,
Space Cowboys. That was about blowing up an asteroid.
Outland
with old people.
It was about a space mining organization. It was done very, very well.
Wayland Yutani.
No. I'm kidding.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
We've been waxing eloquent about Elon Musk for so long. I just wanted to say, how much longer before someone makes a comparison that Elon Musk is the reincarnation of, Tesla, the guy he named his car after.
Nikola Tesla?
Yeah.
Yes. The
Mhm.
Wizard of the East, was it? Or, West.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Nikola
here's
Tesla was a
someone
pretty interesting guy.
he was also someone who was like 100 years ahead of his time. It wasn't until like 60 years later they dug out his notebooks and understood what he was trying to do and then used it. But here's someone, thankfully, who's not only a great engineer but a savvy businessman and can bring it to
Yes.
fruition himself.
Yes. Yeah, he's been very fortunate in that. And I don't mean to say that he hasn't worked his butt off to make it happen. But man, some of the things he takes on is just insane. I mean, who would try to do these things?
Yeah.
Everything that he's done, everyone said you can't do that. I'm gonna make a private rocket ship company and have rocket ships be reusable where we take off and then come back and land exactly the same way. You can't do that. Especially not privately. I'm going to make a, electric car company that, is all electric cars. We don't do anything. No, you can't do that. No one's going to buy electric cars. We're going to make, giant batteries to put in everyone's houses. We're going to make 2 billion of them one day. And everyone's saying, no, you can't do that. And now we have to pause for a moment and say, well, maybe we need to think about this for a minute.
I think it's modern R&D cycles think 5, 10, 15 years ahead, and he's thinking 150.
Yeah.
No one can keep up with him.
Well, he certainly is the man. I'll tell you. Do we? I don't know if we want to have time to.
Hey, Mike, how's your
quiz.
car going?
Wait, no, quiz. I need to trounce Ben in a quiz.
Okay.
How do we want to do the quiz? We're going to have all three play?
Yes.
Sure. Why not? Okay.
How could this go wrong?
Why can't Mike stick around into hour 2 and do news with us? What's the problem with that?
Because Mike needs to sleep. Mike is old and has a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
There it is.
I'm not young like all three of you. All right, you guys ready for a quiz? Let's do that.
Let's do this.
All
right. So we've got 7 questions. Aaron, I don't know how familiar you are and how much studying you've done on all the questions I sent you.
I know everything.
We've got 7 questions here, and I should have made one of the questions about how much memory does the NVIDIA GTX 980 have, or does it?
Ben knows that. Okay.
Probably.
All right. So we got 7 questions. Our first question, and who's going to go first? I don't know who ought to go
I'm the
first.
host of the show, so I go first.
All right. So Craig's going to go first. Tesla recently announced the Tesla Powerwall. Elon announced today that they had sold how many units? How many have been pre-ordered?
Didn't we just have it up on the screen?
We may have, and so Ben may be at a little bit of an advantage here.
Yeah, I know the exact numbers, so please, you two, go ahead.
Next question.
Yeah, maybe.
No. Look, I know what I want to answer. Aaron and Craig, go ahead. Craig?
Okay. Well, it was until 2016 is they're sold out to mid 2016. Given the amount of ones that they make, I would have to say that's quite a number. If they sell, I would say.
Taking you a while.
He's doing the math,
Come on, really? Well, let's see. It's a 4 million square foot factory.
Wait, Craig. What
Each device is like 50 square foot, so you make 12 batteries at a time every 15 minutes, assuming 15 minutes battery. They're booked out 2016, so that's a year. How many 15 minutes are in a year?
We got.
But are they running 3 shifts, 24/7?
2 million. I say 2.
Okay, Aaron says 2 million.
Okay, I say 2,000,001.
That's so mean. And Ben, do you have a guess?
No.
Well, define guess, because I'm going to say 38,000.
Yes, I think you'd be correct. 38,000. So 2 million is slightly closer to 38,000.
Slightly closer to the actual number.
But yeah, so Aaron got that point.
Aaron gets that point. All right, question number 2. The new power walls are designed to be hung on your wall. How heavy are they?
200 pounds.
Okay, this is officially now between Aaron and Craig, because I know all these.
I know it's 200 pounds, so it's about 200 pounds. You have to split that.
It's not, but go ahead, Aaron.
200. Hold on.
No, you can't look it up. You can't look it up.
I'm not looking. My hands are right here. I'm not doing anything.
I sense a disqualification.
100. Hold on. Oh, is this Price is Right rule?
Yes, it is. No, it's not without going over. It's just closest.
It's closest number.
200 pounds.
Say it again.
Crick said 200.
199 pounds. I'll take the low end.
Are you sure you want to do that, Aaron? Is that your final answer? Because I think maybe you should go.
Can I take 199 and 201?
No, you cannot.
Aaron's disqualified.
201.
I'm gonna say 100 kilograms or 220 pounds.
I think Ben might have it on that one. This is a little unfair for Ben. Okay, so that's correct. The correct answer is 220 pounds.
But Aaron
Craig got it.
What
about the exchange rate? Kilos to pounds.
Exchange.
All right, question number 3. For how many hours would an average laptop run on the 7 kilowatt Powerwall?
Ooh.
For how many hours could you run the average laptop on the 7 kilowatt battery? And I think we're going to let Craig answer that first because he got the last point. I'm not counting Ben's correct answer.
I'll say 48 hours.
No way. It's going to be so much more than that. It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be like 4 months.
I'm sorry, I need an answer in hours.
Oh, 49,600 hours.
Wow, that's very specific. I like that. The correct answer is 100. Oh, unless Ben wants to guess.
Well, from the graphic I just looked at like a little while ago, because you can see my screen now. Now I can prove I'm not cheating. I think it said that a laptop was running at 0.05 kilowatt hour, or kilowatts
That's
per
correct.
hour. So that translates to I think 140 hours.
Close. It's actually 140,000 hours.
140,000 hours. Oh, kill.
I use a netbook.
I think you may be right. So maybe if you want to be conservative, maybe only 80,000 hours.
Yeah, there you go.
Or maybe it's 49,600.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So we're going to give that one to Aaron. I think it is. So right now we got 2 points for Aaron and 1 for Craig, and a couple cheaters for Ben.
Okay.
Just kidding, Ben.
He has a second screen. That's it. We don't have to see.
Just kidding. All right. Question number 4. The Tesla is a unit of magnetic flux density that was named in honor of Nikola Tesla. In what year was it named? And this will go to Aaron to answer first. When was the Tesla, that unit, named?
Can I just give you a decade?
You can, sure.
You gotta get a year.
Let's go with 1930s.
1930.
1930. Oh, 35. Split the difference.
1935. That's a nice round.
Okay.
Do you want to say 1935.2? No, I'm just kidding.
0.0.
Craig?
19. What do you say? 1935?
1935.
Hold on. I actually had a reason to guess that.
I'm
You
gonna
can't just guess that because I guessed that.
1934.
And Ben, would you like to guess?
Well, if I had a reason, Tesla was a great man, but he was completely trounced by his other science cohorts who beat him up. So I bet you his genius was not recognized until later. I'm going to say 1973.
I like the way he thought on that. The correct answer was 1960.
Wow.
Closer.
So, yep,
What did they
that
call
would
it
be
before
closer.
that?
What did they call it before that? I don't know. I'm
Maybe
not sure
just
that they
Gauss?
had a name for that.
Maybe it's just Gauss. They didn't have a
Maybe.
SI system. Yeah.
All right, question number 5. The Powerwalls are available in 7 kilowatt and 10 kilowatt hour models. How many kilowatt hours is the top Tesla Model S vehicle? Did I confuse you? So the Powerwall is 7 kilowatt hours or 10 kilowatt hours. What size battery is the largest Tesla Model S in kilowatt hours?
Who's going first?
Ben will go first. He got the last one.
Yeah, I guess I'll go first. And that's like cars and batteries. I never think about it. I've never thought about a car in kilowatt hours. So, if a battery pack runs that long at 10, I'm gonna say these cars with a longer range are probably running somewhere. I'm gonna say 18 kilowatt hours.
Good guess.
What's the range of the Tesla? 300 miles?
265.
265. What is that like?
Well, actually, I think the new one's 270. I think it's 270 for the new one.
That's
Mine's
about
265.
It's about 400 kilometers.
Who uses kilometers? We're in America.
Here's why.
America.
This is the power of the metric system, and this is probably way shot in the dark, but you've got a car weighs about a metric ton, and I'd say, again, my engineering friends from years past are probably laughing at me now if they were watching. A metric ton going a kilometer, I'm guessing, takes a kilowatt hour. I'm not entirely sure how these units go. I'm not an engineer, but I'm going to guess if you got 400 kilometers in you got 400 kilowatt hours.
All right, Mike. How long is the show? Okay.
All night.
I'll say 85 kilowatt hours.
Oh, Craig on the money. 85 kilowatt hour.
He looked that up.
Correct.
I did not.
Good stuff.
And in the meantime, I've just looked it up, and for the reason that Aaron was a little bit off there is that the Tesla Model S is actually 2 metric tons.
Oh man, if you divide that in half, it's like 100. I was close. Just ballparking it. I call that point. That's my point.
I'm sorry, the
Just
bad
because
math is
I know physics, kind of.
kind of.
I just don't know how much the Tesla car weighs.
Well, that's really what you need to know.
Yeah.
So our score at the moment is 2 Craig, 2 Aaron, and 1 Ben. Although Ben knew a couple of them on the money. It's not exactly honest, but it's close enough. Close enough for our work here. And we've got 2 questions to go. So question number 6 is that Nikola Tesla once claimed to have worked for how many hours straight without sleep or rest in his lab? He's working on something and said he worked for this many hours straight without any sleep or rest.
That has to go to Craig, and then Aaron, and then myself.
That works for me.
Okay. So I go first?
Yes, sir.
I'll say, well, I was lucky with 85. I'll go 84 hours straight.
83.
And 83. And Ben?
Oh, Aaron's just being cutthroat now.
I like it. It's like Craig.
Well, let's see. My best gaming spree was 48 hours, and I can't believe Tesla has more endurance than myself. So I'm gonna go with he worked steadfast for 74 hours.
74.
It's interesting you didn't close in Aaron there and choose 82. But unfortunately, Craig was actually on the money with 84.
No way again!
He really was. So Nikola Tesla claims he once worked in his lab for 84 hours straight without sleep or rest.
Wow. All right.
So
Siri in his back pocket's what it is.
Maybe so. So that actually is 3 points for Craig, 2 for Aaron, and 1 for Ben. Ooh. So we're on our final question. So I think Ben and Aaron should work together to make sure Aaron gets this point to even it up.
You don't know my brother.
You two seem like a good team. I have confidence in this happening.
I will be hindering him at every step.
All right, our last question. In 2002, the creator of the oatmeal raised how much money in an effort to buy Tesla's lab and turn it into a museum? And this will go to Craig first.
How much money he raised to build? What was it again?
So yeah, the Oatmeal is a pretty popular cartoon online, and if you haven't read it, you should. And in 2002, the creator of the Oatmeal, it says 2002. I thought it was maybe that's supposed to be 2012. Recently, the owner of the Oatmeal raised how much money to buy Nikola Tesla's lab and turn it into a museum?
Oh, I don't know. Wow.
See, hold on, he's cheating. He's asking the question, saying he has no idea.
$50,000. I'll say $50,000.
$100 million.
I'll say.
Wow, that is a big difference. In case you're not aware.
Yeah, I guess I'll split the difference and go with $3 trillion. No. Anyways, the Oatmeal, very popular. I'm with you on that one. You should go read that. And the Tesla movement was definitely up in arms. I'm going to say they raised a whopping on probably on Kickstarter or something like that, a whopping $2.4 million.
Wow, that's surprisingly close to the correct answer of $2.2 million.
I think I donated that, so I remember that.
And all of it was on Craig's credit card, the whole $2.2 million.
Wow.
Sounds like they scraped off $200,000 off the top, Ben.
Yeah.
They did 2.4. They only got 2.2
charges.
That's funny because at the same time, Mike Cermak got a brand new Tesla.
So moving right along our correct answer. So yeah, so that's Craig won this one. So it's 3 for Craig, 2 for Aaron, 2 for Ben.
I think so.
That was a close race.
So I win.
You do. You win.
All
No
right.
shock.
As
No, you
always, I
don't.
think you've won all of these, right, Craig?
Oh yeah, exactly. Good for me.
I thought Ben and I got to add our points together just to defeat you.
No.
Oh, I think that's right. I didn't read the fine print.
No,
That's
but see,
true.
I don't like. No, see, I don't like Aaron, so you have to subtract my points from his. That's how
No,
that goes.
we're not working together. I'm taking Ben's points to defeat Craig.
Oh.
You can tell you guys are brothers. I love it.
Exactly. Well, Mike, listen, it's always fun having you here on the show, and we're pretty much out of time. Mike Cermak, techguide.org. We have a link to techguide.org for 24 hours, 7 days a week, free technical support whenever you need it. Mike owns and operates it and runs it, and so certainly fun having you here on the show. And I guess we'll catch you next month, same time, same station, right? The first Wednesday.
Sounds like fun.
All right, guys. Listen, thanks again, and Mike for being here, and we'll hang out in the chat room for a little bit more. I know a lot of people are talking to you in there, and then we'll see you next month. Okay.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
All
Enjoy
right.
the rest of the show.
Yeah, Mike.
Bye bye.
Have
All
a great night.
All right. So, Aaron, you gonna stick around, or are you gonna? I know you have company coming up. Are you gonna stick with us for the next second hour, or are you gonna say?
I plan to continue thwarting Ben for an hour.
Okay.
Word again.
Good luck. Good luck.
Okay. You can see techguide.org in the background there with Ben. He's actually showing techguide.org. All right, so when we come back, we'll continue to do computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Hopefully you're all joining us, and we have lots more coming up here on the program. You're listening to the Computer America Show. Computer news coming up next. Interesting stories, too. Too late to tell you what they are. You're just going to have to hang out in the next hour and find out what they are. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And I'm your speed bump, Aaron.
Aaron,
Webmeister.
See,
yes.
speed bump slipping right into your guys' routine to just really muck things up.
There he is.
Speed bump, Aaron.
Yeah, and Aaron is here as well, our webmeister. We invited him. He wanted to be here on the show. We're going to talk about the website, but we're going to save all that tomorrow, for tomorrow, because we'll get into more detail. Because you're going to be with us on the first hour of the show talking about the new website.
Yes, we're going to talk about news. But before we get started, I just have to say that last guy, we have to have him back. He's good.
Who?
Mike was his name?
Yeah.
Got to have him back.
He's not bad. He's not bad.
I mean, it might be a little soon, but how about next month?
Yeah, I think we should have him back next month.
First Wednesday?
Yeah, the first Wednesday. That'll work out.
First one? Yeah.
Third Saturday, maybe. All right, first Wednesday. It's fine.
Well, again, if you're joining us, you can watch us on our Computer America live video stream. Go to computeramerica.com, click on the show notes button. You'll get a little preview of the chat room. You're actually seeing that. We have that up. I would say probably by Monday we will have everything in place, and the new website will be up, and all the new features that we're talking about
will sure
as well. So I say that we do some computer news. Okay, guys?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right. Everything at Slimware Utilities website is completely free. It's not a freemium model. You don't use it now and pay for it later. Everything on that website is free, so you should download all of them, keep them, use them. You'll be happy that you did, trust me, and you'll thank us for it. SlimwareUtilities.com. And in this first news story, again from Maximum PC, finally, the Oculus Rift, they made the announcement, will ship to consumers in the first quarter of 2016. At long last, a release date has been announced.
I'm not super. I'm not ready to jump at just one particular date. I mean, this is a whole branch of consumer technology that is going to take lots of parts. You need the hardware. So even if you got the Oculus Rift, what are the games like? All the pictures I've ever seen are still very much beta looking. They're still developing the game engines. Yeah, I mean,
well,
there's a lot of parts to wait for.
It's not coming out tomorrow. It's the first quarter of 2016. That's a little ways off yet, But the point is, at least we have a date.
Yeah, I mean, getting this equipment in people's hands is obviously going to be the first step in getting people to program for it, because you're not going to, especially with something very, very new like this, you're not going to get AAA titles right off the bat. You may get some crappy ports. You may get some people who are going to adapt other games to it. But you're not going to have AAA virtual reality games launching right from the launch date. Hey, at least get people the hardware in their hands.
I see what you're saying, but even that can't be too. I mean, we can't get too excited about that either. I mean, look at something as big as the Google Glass or the iWatch. I mean, these are big companies that should be capable of doing.
Apple Watch.
Sorry, the Apple Watch. I mean, these are big companies. When they give you a date, that doesn't mean A, it's going to be on time, or B, good, and C, this is just part of the puzzle. I'm not saying it's not a step in the right direction, but we can do better, guys. Come on. What other articles we got? This is a rumor.
This is completely newsworthy, because we've been talking about Oculus Rift for the past, I'd say, year and a half, and to finally get a release date after $2 billion of investing, after being bought out by Facebook, after all the setbacks it has, and not only Oculus Rift, but also the competitors, the HoloLens from Microsoft, and the I want to say the PlayStation View or something like that. It's one by PlayStation, where they're coming out with their own competitors. The original one actually getting a release date is big news.
You want to hear an exciting news story? Microsoft HoloLens. Microsoft recently bought Minecraft.
Yes.
So they bought Minecraft, and they own HoloLens. So I'm more excited about the release date of HoloLens because I get to live Minecraft at that point.
Well, we did talk about the HoloLens presentation. Aaron, I'm not sure if you've seen the tech demo yet.
I had a HoloLens. There was one of them, actually, I had a chance to try personally. They were trying it out at Best Buy. It was one of the virtual reality headsets, and it was incredible. I seriously thought I was like in a helicopter.
Now, was it virtual reality or was it augmented reality?
Which one?
No, it was virtual reality, where like you put on the headset, and no matter which direction you look, it's like you have the full field of vision.
Okay, that's virtual reality, not augmented.
Yeah, that's virtual reality. HoloLens is augmented.
I mean, augmented reality is just the virtual reality overlay on real life. It's the same technology. I'm not super excited about one over the other. It's the same. To me, that's not. If you've already invented virtual reality, augmented reality is the next step. Augmented reality is the PNG to virtual reality's JPEG. I'm not impressed about one over the other.
Well,
I'm so hard to do news with because I'm just so.
Wet blanket you.
Give me a new article. This is not. This is not
Wet
doing it for
blanket.
me.
Okay, but before we jump off the Oculus Rift, let's give people a little bit of thing. It will be shipping to consumers first quarter next year. It's going to quote unquote transform gaming, film, entertainment, communication, and a lot more. Because let's face it, Oculus Rift, it's not going to be just for video games. It's also going to be for, imagine Skype calls where you're kind of sitting face to face with a hologram projection of a person. It's going to transform movies. Think about what IMAX did for movies. Think about what 3D did for movies. Admittedly, they didn't catch on and completely replace 2D, but it gave people an entirely different experience. So, first quarter next year, that's people are going to start seeing that kind of thing, and
Yeah,
keep
well,
an eye out for it because it's also going to be working with smartphones. Like it's also going to be a peripheral for smartphones as well.
yeah. The thing is that there are a lot of them that are coming out. We mentioned. I mean, they're all in it. And Google, HTC, Samsung, Sony all have their coming out with VR games and products. However, with all the hype around the Oculus Rift, it's as the author says, Paul Lilly, he says that it's finally it's a good thing that we're finally going to see it. And they're also taking pre-orders later this year. So yeah, keep an eye out. We'll let you know when they start taking pre-orders. But all this announcement just came out today, and we thought you should know. There you go. Okay.
Yep. You know, I hate to do this on the air, but I really don't have any other way to contact Aaron, I guess. I also sent you a list of the stories that we're going to be doing tonight, so if you want to choose one from that list or, you know, choose one of your own, I mean, feel free.
You guys, I'm along for the ride. Let's do this.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
then, then the next story.
Oh wait.
Oh, anything space related?
We got a caller. And,
We got a caller. Okay.
all right. Oh, it's Shane.
Red alert! Red alert!
Computer American Craig Crossan. Hey Shane, what's up?
Actually, I was thinking about a great idea for Oculus Rift. I don't know how many of you are Star Trek fans or Star Wars fans or anything like that, but could you imagine having an Oculus Rift, you know, where you are immersed as a starship captain,
Well,
and being part of that?
well,
I think storytelling. I mean, this is video games in general. I mean, this is going to put you not just, you know, in the mental frame of mind of a character like you were playing a game. Now you're going to get the chance to like almost live that experience, and this is. I mean, yeah, that's gonna be really cool. I mean, especially for some of these older franchises that have been around for decades, like Star Trek. Yes, absolutely. This is gonna breathe new life into so many classic, you know, stories and genres, realms.
I also have an idea for you, Aaron, for the website.
Might be better to email that one to me.
New power gloves that cause you know, which lets you feel texture that you brought up on the show earlier or on a previous episode. And what you could do is like the movie Hackers. and you could like be an immersive website, and you can have viruses that look like Pac-Man eating away, and it's wonderful. And Angelina Jolie will be there, you know, when she was young and hot.
You'd be surprised that one of the biggest investors in virtual reality is who knew the porn industry. Like they're really gunning after virtual reality.
Yeah.
Oculus. I wonder why.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder why.
You took my Angelina Jolie idea to the next level.
Oh yeah, like it was that far of a leap. My bad. Excuse me.
All right, Shane, thanks again for calling. Keep listening. All right, you listen to the Computer America Show. Ben and I and Aaron are doing computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimmer Utilities. And I guess it's your turn to pick a story, Ben.
Yeah, sure. I'll pick one. How about this one? This is a trend that people are either fearing or are all gung-ho about. Gung-ho? Gung-ho.
Gung with a G, 2 G's.
Okay, gung-ho about. And this one I'm getting from Popular Science. Mary Beth Griggs is the author of this particular article, but just to kind of go over it, the first self-driving truck has taken to the streets of Nevada.
The first self-driving? Really? Wow.
Yeah,
well, that's
exactly.
awful.
So,
I mean, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, unfortunate because let me guess, you're afraid it's going to displace many jobs.
Not just many jobs, but have you met truckers? They're not exactly friendly, and now they're all unemployed.
Oh, come on! You can't say that all truckers are unfriendly. That's a terrible.
No, just the average one.
Just the average.
Just most of you, not all of you. Just most of you
No,
are surly.
if
You
I
are
ever-
surly people.
No. Let me clarify my statements. If I ever have the pleasure of meeting a trucker, they're wonderful. If I'm ever not in the room as them, they're intimidating and scary, and they're like modern day sailors. Remember how sailors had a reputation for going from port to port and being
that-
a scallywag who likes a good fight. That's a trucker.
That hole you're digging is getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
I don't feel the need to remind Aaron that we are a radio program, so oddly enough, the people listening to us are usually people who make long car rides.
That's
rides, usually truckers. So that's Aaron, A-A-R-O-N.
Look, okay, you know what? All right. Truckers, let me apologize. I'll turn the tables for you. Look at it this way. There's no way anyone's going to like the idea of a 20-ton vehicle without a human behind it. If anything, your job got stupid easy. Just sit there and watch it do itself. Like, you're welcome, truckers. Modern technology.
At least for the foreseeable future, but
There you go.
This particular
Those
one.
lazy truckers.
Yes, this particular story though is the company is Freightliner Inspiration, and they want to transform the trucking industry. They have a truck that will drive only on highways, and it will keep the speed limit, stay in its lane, and slow down when construction or traffic jams clog up the roads. Two radars, one going out that can see about 800 feet in front of it, and then the other one tracking everything that's going on within a 200-foot radius around the truck.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So yeah, and they're hoping that by Freightliner, I think it was Freightliner, Freightliner Inspiration. They're hoping that by taking some of the more boring aspects or some of the more tedious aspects, because let's face it, driving a truck nowadays, it's someone has to do it, but it's not exactly a thrilling or fun job. It's just a job that needs to be done. They're hoping that by diverting some of their some of these tasks to machines, they want truck drivers to be less stressed and more alert on long hauls. So they still want the truck drivers in the truck with them, and just like Aaron said earlier, it's going to make your job a little bit easier. This is going to handle the 90% of the long haul truck driving is going on, but for the 10% that includes traffic jams, that includes construction work, that includes turning off, getting gas, refueling, that includes dealing with people. All that still needs to have a person behind the wheel and a person operating the vehicle.
For now.
Right.
Yeah. I totally see this as being not quite a quote PR move, but it's a very calculated progression where first you have cars that drive themselves with supervision, and then once you have a statistic you can brag about, like 3 billion miles and no accidents, that's when you get rid of the drivers.
Yep.
Oh, but I mean, here's something. I mean, most people don't know that I don't want to say most people. A lot of people don't know that the inside of a rig, as they call them, has a lot of room. There's like a bed and a kitchen and a bathroom and.
You're talking about like a.
Yeah, like a truck.
Yeah,
rig.
They have, because they usually do two people, so someone has to have a room to lay down and go to sleep, have a kitchen, relax.
Now here's the thing: if you took all that cubic footage of cabin and didn't have a driver, you could probably put like enough gas in that truck to go 5,000 miles. If you just filled the cabin with gas and your gas tank was a cabin and it was self-driving, you didn't have a vehicle anymore, you could have a truck that would never have to stop. You could probably get it from one end of the country to the other if you just extended the cab and kept building the gas tank. That's the future of trucking right there. Trucks that don't stop.
Still sounds dangerous, but we're gonna go with something.
Give it 50 years.
But I just want to also make clear that this is Nevada again. Nevada was the first state in the U.S. to legalize self-driving cars and autonomous cars on highways. So if you're in Nevada for some reason and you see license plates with red, where the majority of it is red, they do not support any kind of 5K, what have you. It's because red license plates, or giant red reflective license plates, are self-driving automated cars, and they're tagged differently than normal cars.
That actually makes a lot of sense for two reasons. A lot of Nevada is desert, so you don't have a lot of collateral should some testing go wrong. And two, this technology obviously has military applications to the nth degree, and Nevada has a lot of military bases that could also be testing this technology.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Google obviously making great strides there with their self-driving cars. They're the first one to get released. But now trucks, and this is just going to be the first in probably a series. I mean, there's probably going to be a couple other states jumping on board saying, okay, yeah, we can do self-driving cars, self-driving trucks, but no futurist out there ever has said that truck driving jobs are safe. Not really in the near future, but in the not so distant future, truck driving will no longer be something done by people. That will be done by automation.
That's every job, Ben.
Hopefully, not every job, because you can't do the service industry. Well, you can do service industry.
Yes,
but,
you can.
Hospitality.
Self-checkout.
There we go.
Self-checkout.
No.
A self-checkout line. There's a job where you just spent your time walking around this massive store to find all these items, and now you got to ring it up yourself. I go out of my way to avoid self-checkout lines because after I'm done walking Walmart, I want to speak to someone who's not going to bite me or, likely to actually help me. And when I have to ring up my own groceries, I'm terrible at that. And that just really caps off my experience anywhere I'm shopping. There's no such thing as a safe job. Every job can be automated, except the job that makes other jobs automated. That job can't be automated.
I heard they're gonna automate talk show hosts. So
they already have.
Okay.
It's called Bring On the Other Guy.
Okay. All right. You're listening to the computer.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a conversation and a little bit a few questions being thrown out there in the chat room about how would people live. How would the economy sustain itself if everything was automated and no one had a job anymore? And I think after a point, you have to implement something called the standard minimum wage, like the standard wage, or the standard, like where everyone, regardless of your employment, regardless of what you're doing, you get a standard, let's say $28,000 a year, you get a standard $32,000, like whatever the number is set at, just for existing and being a citizen within a fully automated society, you get a standard wage, and then you can go get training, you can go get another job, but you are guaranteed a minimum of that wage. Like that's the only way that I can really think of to prop up the economy after so many people are going to lose their jobs. Because the capital's still there, it's just the people aren't putting in the work hours because they don't have to.
When industry was really getting going, like 200 years ago, there was a German philosopher who said, what happens one day when there's a disconnect between, the factory and the workers, right? And I'm not saying we should go down this road tonight, but this question's been asked forever, and, that was the whole idea behind Karl Marx and socialism was what happens when, the people who benefit from it, can't. Let's say, for example, all the workers get replaced with robots. You have this economy that's churning out products and nobody has any money. What do? Well, at that point, you have to completely change your entire way of doing things. It's like the whole idea of two people working together for mutual benefit goes out the window when you don't need two people anymore.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a huge society problem. That's something that I think is best tested, without words. We have 180 countries on this planet. They're all trying different systems of government. Let's just see which ones succeed on the global arena. And hopefully this technological revolution sorts itself out with minimal conflict.
So what you're saying is we need to emulate Greece. All I got from that.
What I'm trying really hard to say is philosophers are often respected for a reason, and as much as we disagree with them personally, I think if we try to continue to, I don't know, I really don't want to go down this road of politics, but I feel like in the face of technology, if capitalism does not make sense and you continue to bang that drum in the face of technology that undermines it, you are setting yourself up to lose. I mean, look at philosophies throughout time have crumbled, and I mean, you see this conflict. It's already present. That's why you have people attacking things like the internet, privacy. I mean, we already have this issue where so much work is being automated, so much people have been pushed out of the workforce.
So
there's all this friction.
So I guess
we're not going
to get into the big argument, but there are already people who have asked this and asked it 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, today, yesterday. There are people having this conversation all over the place, and no one really has the best answer. There is no the
It's
best
also
answer.
a very uncomfortable conversation to have, and what's really unfortunate is technology's making it necessary. We have to have that conversation at some point. Has anyone ever asked what happens when AI takes over and it literally does everything? I mean, what happens when essentially robots stop working for us? I just said it was impossible, and I still stand by that. But hypothetically, the average person believes AI is possible. What happens when AI determines that we just don't need to automate food growing anymore because robots don't need food? Ooh.
Yeah,
See, this is why I don't come on the show, because then you guys freak out and get quiet on me.
No. In my defense, I was not freaking out because I was quiet. I was trying to answer in the chat room, which I shouldn't be doing. But no, they don't need food. They don't need clothing, shelter. They don't need any of that kind of upkeep. All they need is a little bit of oil and maybe some better programming. But again, that's what does your society need to continue itself? And if at some point you say, okay, it doesn't really need people anymore, then you have to figure out what you're going to do with all these people, because you can't just throw them away like you can, something else. So it's you're right. It's a conversation that I completely agree we probably shouldn't be having right now.
Right. All right. Well,
we need more consumer products to distract ourselves from these.
Speaking of consumer,
how about that Apple Watch?
Please don't.
I want to know. We're not. We're going to talk. This is an interesting story again from Popular Science. Comcast is in the news, and evidently, this actually was posted 5 hours ago. Comcast is going to offer ultra high def 4K video this fall. So if you have a high def 4K TV, but you don't know what to watch, well, guess what? Comcast is coming out with. I'm surprised because I thought Netflix was going to do this first. Well, didn't they say they're going to have 4K?
They already do it.
They do, yeah, exactly. Well, evidently, Comcast doesn't want to be left behind. It's going to be called they're going to call it Comcast X1 platform. All right. Now, so basically, here we are. We're getting all these high definition video things and nothing to watch. It's evidently Comcast is going to step it up a notch. These 4K resolution TVs are becoming more affordable. Native 4K content though has been in short supply. I mean, you can use your Blu-ray player. That'll give you some resolution, but it's still not 4K. 4K again has about 4,000 vertical lines of resolution, and just an amazing density. And right now, the current top of this is 1080p. That's what you can get in most broadcasting situation. So
which
evidently,
is 2,000 pixels.
Yeah. Yes.
Vertical lines.
Yeah. Comcast now promises to deliver ultra-high-def programming with its new XI4 set-top box, and this is amazing, though, without extra cost to its subscribers. Now, that's interesting.
Is this in select markets, or is it for all Comcast customers?
Well, it sounds as though such content may be limited at first to on-demand streaming rather than live television, which is still being broadcast in HD, but it's possible, even probable perhaps, that the box you're going to get from them will also someday be able to receive live 4K TV channels.
So they're going to be...
Yeah, there are not very many of those, quite frankly. I mean,
so they're going to be streaming 4K data to consumers over existing infrastructure? They're not going to go back and...
Yeah.
How much broadband does it take to stream 4K data?
A lot. It's a lot of data.
How are they going to do that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's only be in certain regional areas here. I'll go a little further in the story. They're saying that they're also going to be offering a library of films shot in large formats like IMAX. Because you'll be able to do it. IMAX is going to be going into your home. Now, they're saying this is all starting in 2016. Now, they're also saying the Comcast is going to roll out another set-top box in addition to the one that adds support for high dynamic range or HDR content, providing video with even more vibrant colors, contrast, and brightness. So they're not sitting around. I mean, Comcast is really doing a lot of stuff here.
I saw an article about Comcast today that said they announced today they were going to be laying a 2 gigabit bidirectional internet grid in Chicago. So I'm wondering if those two are tied. If this 2 gigabit internet, bidirectional, is going to be something that Comcast is building, is this the infrastructure they're planning on delivering 4K content with?
The story doesn't say that, but again, they do say Netflix and
Let me see
YouTube.
if I can find the article.
Yeah, Netflix and YouTube, are begin offering some content with this high resolution to compatible hardware, but it's not very widespread yet. But still, it's the age of UHD, and all these companies are going to start having to provide content because you have consumers with all this information, with this equipment. It would be a shame not to provide the equipment.
Yep.
So.
Craig, that's it exactly. I'm seeing an article here. It turns out today was Chicago, but they've done it in cities all over the place. Atlanta was another one I saw. Nashville was getting, I think, 1 gigabit. And it said Comcast I'm seeing another article here in Wired. Clint Finley's the author. Says Comcast says it'll bring ultra-fast internet to U.S. by 2016. So by 2016, they expect to have their 2 gigabit internet nationwide, which explains why they are so confident they'll have 4K data streaming to homes nationwide by 2016.
Yeah.
Well,
Neato. Take that, Google.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's 2 gigabit. That's double Google's offering, and Google's big. So
all right. Some of the other stories coming up in the last half of the show. We're going to talk about Apple. Apple wants your DNA. Ooh, I wonder why they want that. Yep.
They don't have it already.
Also, a heartbeat radar saves 4 men trapped under rubble in Nepal. That's kind of cool. And then also, new GPS means hyper-accurate virtual reality. Some of the stories that we're going to be doing up in the upcoming hour of the show. In the meantime, you're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network. We are doing computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Aaron Crossman, our webmaster or webmeister, is joining us tonight. He will be with us tomorrow night too, when we talk about our new website coming up here on the show. Short break. Another news tip bulletin review from Marty Winston's coming up as well. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering, or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf's staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Okay, but 1 minute later, we would have had to mark you tardy. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America, this time the Ryobi 10-inch drill press.
Hey, pal, want to buy a hole?
Some marketers will tell you that people don't buy drills, they buy holes, but need drills to make them. And as you know, we've reviewed plenty of drills, and so much tech upkeep tends to involve holes. Note, though, that those have always been freehand drills, so those holes sometimes end up a little off the mark or at a slightly unanticipated angle. It was time to do a whole lot better, so we got in a Ryobi DP103L 10-inch drill press to review. It has an adjustable height table assembly and a 3-handle spring-loaded control for bringing the chuck and the drill bit it carries down to the piece you want to drill. That's all pretty normal. Under a top cover, you can adjust a drive belt's position on various radius motor and spindle pulleys for speeds of 610, 900, 1500, 2075, or 2800 RPM, as appropriate to the hardness and thickness of the material you want to drill. Advice is in the manual. A removable plastic piece can disable the power switch to lock the drill on. Separate switches control two features we really like: an LED work light and a laser X that crosses exactly where the drill bit will enter. The manual tells you how to tweak that if it ever goes astray. Bottom line, the Ryobi DP103L 10-inch drill press is a whole bunch of useful for creating more useful holes. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bullet Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour. We are doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. And we also have Aaron joining us for our news, which is a rarity. But yeah, we thank him for continuing on with us. Just want to do a local update. Yes, apparently we were just warned that a tornado had hit Tiger Safari in Oklahoma. And there were tigers on the loose in Oklahoma. But as of 10:09 p.m. tonight, all the animals have been accounted for. So, good news there. No rampant tigers in Oklahoma. But, really? Nothing? Okay, whatever.
I'm wondering how that managed to tear open the tiger enclosure and not harm any tigers.
The tigers were thrown all over the place. There were tigers in pools, there were tigers in bathtubs, there were tigers everywhere.
Have you seen a tiger? They're huge.
I know, and this tornado was full of them. It was like Sharknado, but with tigers. It was scary.
And they hate water. That's to be angry tigers. This is just becoming more ludicrous by the minute.
Frazzle tigers, if you want to be technical
really
here.
Soggy, unhappy tigers flying through Oklahoma.
Probably that. Okay, no, but yeah, we're doing computer and technology news, and yes, I think we're going to start with this one next. And this one is the Xbox One is getting a little bit more nifty. And we were seeing this more and more ever since the launch of the Xbox One, however rocky it may have been. Microsoft really seems to be upping the functionality and the integration with a lot of different products in with the Xbox One, even after you've purchased it through software updates. So its value is actually increasing all the time. And here we go. Sometime this year, Xbox One will get a DVR functionality.
Wow, that's nice.
With live television.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have that. It can soon replace your TiVo, and and they have it here. Throughout cites an unnamed source, so very, very credible here, that the Xbox One will soon get the live TV recording functionality, and it will be sometime, quote unquote, probably this year. They said that the Xbox One will accept over-the-air broadcast signals through a USB connection. The device also comes with the ability to actually, let me throw the story up here on my monitor so anyone watching can read along with me. So it can go over the air, and it will allow you the ability to pause live television for up to 30 minutes. And hey, it's better than nothing. It's not TiVo, but it's better than nothing.
Just getting ready to say people shouldn't be throwing out their DVRs just yet, because you see it all the time where some device adds an additional functionality, but it pales in comparison to a dedicated device. So, I mean, this might be great, like if you are someone who just likes to pause it and go to the restroom and come back and go through commercials. But if you're someone who actually likes to record series and keep track of that and, potentially interact with other storage devices, if you have a setup currently, don't abandon it for this just yet. You'll probably be more satisfied.
Aaron makes a good point. These are all very cool, and it's nice to have it in addition to in a smaller. But if you most either cable companies or satellite like offer.
What about recording functionality while gaming? And then
that's already a possibility thanks to Twitch and other services like that.
Exactly.
I believe Raptor has one, and that functionality is already there. It allows you to stream live to different things. It allows you to record clips and store them in the cloud. That's there. But the article we have here from Ars Technica kind of makes a good point where if it can do this, there's no reason that you can't go through an HDMI pass-through and using an external hard drive be able to record and save your shows on that external hard drive instead, and allowing you to treat it just like a TiVo, just like a DVR, just like any other off-the-shelf DVR. Because hardware-wise, you have your TV tuner, you have your place of storage. There's no reason you couldn't do that. So
software.
It's just a software issue, which sometime later this year they're pushing for the being able to pause, but there's no saying that next year or the year after they may not be pushing some kind of DVR functionality altogether.
I'm not sure. I mean, even if you did go through the extra step to hook up an extra hard drive to give it the capacity of a conventional DVR device, that still doesn't mean that the interface is going to be the same, that you can control it with your phone like a lot of modern ones can, that you can... there's so much functionality in a modern DVR device. To try to fit all that in as an added value to Xbox is going to be tough. I'd have to see it for myself. Granted, I'm not someone who even uses DVRs really, but for someone like me, this might be perfect. I'm someone who's likely to have an Xbox One. I like games, but I'm not someone who would go out and spend extra money on a DVR. For someone like me, this is perfect. I get a DVR, even if it's not exactly what you would think as a DVR, but even if it's close, this is something that I wouldn't otherwise have. So this makes sense for the younger gamer generation who doesn't have 15 devices.
Right. Okay.
Yep, and but next month we are also here at Computer America making plans for the E3 convention, the Electronic Entertainment Expo.
Yes.
But if there are any more solid plans to announce about this, that would be the perfect time for Microsoft to make such an announcement. Yeah. So we'll be keeping up with what Microsoft is doing because they always have a very impressive keynote, and I'm sure they're going to be announcing. They've already announced their console like 2 years ago, so that's not a big deal. But announcing more functionality is always good.
Yeah, we're going to be working with Pop Zara magazine on better coverage of E3, so that's looking for that. Hey, from time to time I like to do a human interest story, and this is kind of interesting. This is from Engadget. This is very interesting. A woman used a Pizza Hut mobile app to escape a hostage crisis. According to this story, it says it's sometimes too dangerous to call 911, but one Florida woman just found a potentially life-saving alternative, which was a food delivery app. When this woman's boyfriend threatened to hurt her and her family if they left home, she used Pizza Hut's mobile app to send a request for help under the pretext of ordering a pizza. And evidently, thankfully, the staff caught the message and sent police to her home, getting the hostages out safely. But the point is, this kind of stealthy app-based plea won't be as necessary once they roll out text to 911, which is another, which makes a lot of sense. In other words, you can't call 911; you can still text them. That's actually good, but that's not quite out yet. But when they really roll it out in earnest, it's good to know that it's an option in dire circumstances. So there you go. If you find yourself in a hostage crisis, send the 911 to Pizza Hut.
I'm so grateful that whoever was working at Pizza Hut was paying attention.
Yes,
Every
exactly.
now and then you get those messages where it's like, we will customize, we'll write any message you want on the box. You just gotta let us know. And wouldn't it be funny if a pizza showed up and on the box was written, "Please send help." Like they didn't get it. They just brought you a pizza.
Or they show up with 2 delivery guys, each holding an end. They're like, okay, got help. Anyways,
Yeah.
anyone who's wondering, yes, they got large pizza with pepperoni and free garlic sticks. So
That was nice to know.
Oh man, you get rescue and a pizza.
And a pizza. Yeah, what a
That's so much better than 911. Even if they rolled out 911 to text, like text to 911, I would still use the pizza app because then I get help and a pizza.
And a pizza.
Who wouldn't want that?
Oh, Florida, you
They should
never
just
cease
send
to
pizzas
amaze.
with the cops.
Yeah.
That would
Exactly.
instantly diffuse most. I don't want to get. That's probably. I really need to be on the air more often just so I learn what to say and not to say on the
There you go. See, you're learning already.
air. Do not write off domestic violence as light
Aaron,
because that's not
you
nice.
you can say whatever you want on the air if you own it. If you say it with conviction, people will believe you're a professional. That's what I've been doing, and no one has called me on my crap yet.
All right. Well, if the cops show up to deal with an angry husband and they have a pizza, I guarantee that husband won't be as angry.
Well, that's what canine units are for. They show up at a residence and they have puppies.
With man's
and-
best friend.
Yeah, exactly, and it calms the whole situation
Oh,
down.
incredible.
Isn't that cute? Yes, exactly.
Incredible. Until they chase the car off.
All right.
Okay, so next one. Oh, here's a funny one. We've been following the whole cable industry kind of thing ever since the FCC reclassified internet as common carrier, Title II reform, that kind of thing. And they have been filing lawsuits left and right. They've been raising issues, and apparently this one from Ars Technica, John Brodkin. Apparently, Tom Wheeler tells
Of the
cable
FCC.
industry to stop complaining, start competing.
Yeah.
Snap.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This makes well. I've been studying this very closely. I've been working on a multi-piece article for this actually. This is a great situation where, and this is going to go all the way to the Supreme Court. So, the way that the justice system works is basically to start at the bottom. So there weren't any rules, so they tried to do something that was against the spirit of the not rule. You know, everyone said, okay, we want an open internet. Well, they started doing things that weren't open. And so that went to the FCC, and the FCC made the rules very clear that this is wrong. So now we start going through the legal process. The first thing they have to do is complain to the FCC and say, we want you to change your mind. That's like required. Once that happens, of course, the FCC is going to say, no, we're not. Then they're allowed to go to the court system, and it starts going through the courts like any other legal battle.
Yeah.
So basically, the FCC is just really upset that they're getting all the hate mail, and they just want the hate mail to stop. Really, this is not going to stop because there's a lot of money to be gained from what they want to sell, and there's a lot of money to be saved for not upgrading like they're being told to. So of course, there's so much money in not doing what the FCC tells them to do. This is just going to be dragged out as long as possible.
They'd rather spend the couple tens of
Exactly.
millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in legal fees than the couple of potentially billions of dollars in actually upgrading an infrastructure that is, in a lot of areas, dated.
Crumbling.
Or crumbling. Yeah, so...
but Tom Wheeler's right, though. I mean, look at Comcast.
They have a quote here from Wheeler. He says, quote, often people say to me, I know you don't want to do anything crazy, but what about those who follow you? And my response is, I take you at your word to protect an open internet, but what about that? But what about those that follow you? And I don't know why I quoted that. But
that's a really funny quote.
Yeah,
you know?
He's
He's brilliant.
He has proposed legislation to have the open internet, to protect it under to protect it as a utility, and he's made great strides in going towards that system. And I think he's trying to say here is no matter how many lawsuits, no matter how many times they try to appeal this, we as a society and we as just an economy cannot go backwards. They can't go back to the way it was, where there was actually less competition and less incentive to improve.
And less protection.
Unless protection.
And less protection. Yeah, I mean that's the fact that it's really that I think that's why everyone's so upset, is that it's a utility. What is a utility? It's something we all basically need. It's something that's part of the success of a nation. And with that comes different stipulations. The company that owns it has to maintain it. They can't just let it crumble because they can. They have to guarantee it to everyone. They can't charge people more because they want to. I mean, you have to not only make sure it's there, but it's available, and is limited downtime. There's no downtime if possible, and all of this is extra work that they weren't, originally on the hook for. This is a huge change. It's going to affect how they do business. I completely understand why they're unhappy, but they have to understand the flip side. They now, as a utility, basically have a protected monopoly. Most utilities have a monopoly protected by the government. All they have to do is make sure our internet doesn't turn off, and they will stay in business forever. Yep. This is a sweet deal.
Yeah, it's a sweet deal, and unfortunately, it's a deal that we're also having to, we have to fight just to keep it as horrible as it is now. Because just recently, the failed merger of Comcast and Time Warner. I think it was Comcast Time Warner. That cost them $330 million to not merge. And that was to keep people from losing yet another source of competition between the two. Even though they say they never compete, they really should be. Like, they should be competing to offer people a better service, compared to one another. And now, Aaron, I don't know if you heard about this one. Kind of want to get your reaction on it. With AT&T is actually considering merging with DirecTV.
See, all this, both of those mergers have the same two pieces. You've got Comcast, which is all about the infrastructure. I mean, all of these companies, to certain extents, do a little bit of, oh my gosh, I really need to start thinking about what I'm going to say. It's really hard to separate content creation from content delivery. So a lot of these companies have a hand in both. A lot of times the companies that deliver the content will also sponsor the companies that produce the content, because they kind of go hand in hand. What's the point in having a Comcast-sized network if you're not going to have something to broadcast on it? So when you've got a company like Comcast and Time Warner, that makes perfect sense. I see why they want to do it. Time Warner makes a lot of material. Comcast is rolling out a 2 gigabit internet.
Sorry, Time Warner Cable, not just Time Warner. Time Warner Cable.
Yeah. Well, no. Time Warner Cable is one big company. It's Time. It's Warner Brothers. And it's a cable company they acquired somewhere along the way. Like, these are conglomerates at this point. So it makes sense for companies that make content to want to absorb companies that have the delivery system. That allows them to do it more efficiently.
Time Warner Cable is a delivery system for Time Warner content, but Time Warner Cable is a direct competitor to Comcast.
I know, but think of it from a business standpoint, Ben. You've got a company, Comcast, just built a 2 gigabit infrastructure across the whole country. Time Warner, with all their content, wants that system, but they don't want to build it themselves. Of course they're going to try to buy that company. Like, it makes sense. Why would you build the same thing twice, especially when it's the internet? When it's the internet, you just need to lease the infrastructure once one person builds it.
You can see why. It's very easy to see why they'd want to spend $40 billion, $80 billion, $60 billion to merge these companies, because for that one-time investment in capital that they have right now, they can buy all of their customers, they can buy all of their infrastructure, they can buy everything that they have, and use that in their service. That's obvious, but that's why that's why I said at the beginning, it's so bad that we have to fight to keep it as bad as it is.
Well, there's a globalization as a trend is still very much accelerating. I mean, you see it all the time. Different companies are getting the rights to go international with their products. I was reading about one company actually. All right, let's put the question to you two as the host and co-host. What is the number one manufacturer, even in chat room? Well, they're not going to be able to get it in time. What is the number one manufacturer by volume for telecommunications equipment?
But not AT&T?
No, not by. Well, no, they're not even two.
Well, you're talking about equipment, so like actual hardware. Because if it was software and firmware, I'd say it was like Android, so Google. But if you're going to hardware, like probably like LG or something like that.
Sony Ericsson used to be number one. So, like Nokia.
Yeah.
But recently they were surpassed by a company called Huawei. I'm probably mispronouncing that.
Yeah.
Yes, but Huawei was a company that was founded in China. It got a lot of protection from the Chinese government. It was actually founded by former Chinese army officers, so they enjoyed a lot of protection. And once they came to dominate the Chinese market, now they generate a large bit of their business through building entire infrastructure networks for other countries. This Chinese company is so massive, it goes into like Estonia and builds an entire infrastructure from the ground up. And that is where globalization is going. And I totally see if American companies don't want to compete, Huawei is going to show up and do it for them and make all the money. So they can start competing. They can stop trying shenanigans to just absorb each other because America's never liked a monopoly. And if they don't try to essentially play by the rules of the field, that the FCC states, some other company will come in, play by the rules, do it cheaper, and Americans will have what they want. Because that's what it's about, right? Consumer, top to bottom, is all about customers always right.
Cheaper and better.
Yep. If Americans want it and they're sick of watching their companies fight, some other company's going to show up in our market and do it better. And we're going to have what we want done.
But at the same time, like if you think it's hard for a Chinese company to get in here, like it shouldn't be that hard for another competitor to get in there, because the legislation that is being proposed, I want to say by like the appropriate lawmakers, but of course lobbying dollars are being thrown around left and right. They're actually stopping the manufacturing of, or not the manufacturing, the implementation of like citywide networks. Like there was I think it was in Chattanooga, Tennessee, where they had a citywide fiber network that all the taxpayers agreed on by a majority vote, and then they would have an increase in their taxes, but it would be a city-run and a city-installed internet service that you connect to, and yet it was trying to be shut down so hard. I want to say by Comcast. They were just trying to run it into the ground and saying, you can't do that. They were telling cities what their citizens were trying to do was illegal.
Why does Comcast has no right to decide the law? How does Comcast tell a city what the laws are?
Because they're the incumbent in that whole situation, and they're trying to impede competition. This is one of the big stories before the Title II reform.
So you're saying Comcast was telling a city that they were not allowed by law to compete.
It happens all over the state. It happens all over the country.
I don't know. This is all just legal shenanigans and different companies who are trying to make a buck today if it means pushing off change. And, I mean, they're doing what's best for them as companies, and that's fine. But you have, at the end of the day, there has to be some... Like you can't have a disconnect between what your consumers want and what the company is trying to do, because then you're going to start getting a lot of friction, anger, and people are going to start searching for alternatives. And there is a lot of anger right now. So
it really is. But hopefully more competition, and at the end of the day, let's hope faster internet, especially for those who can't get it right now. We even have people in the chat room who still get 6 megabits per second and still count themselves lucky because that's the fastest they can get. So hopefully better, faster, and wider spread networks are on the way.
Hey guys, we're almost out of time here. Just quickly, with a number of stories that we just didn't get a chance to get to, like this one from a speaker that lights on fire.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I mean, burning down the house if you're playing that on your stereo, maybe you really can with these speakers.
Wait, just to get everyone the name, because you should definitely check it out. It's called the Sound Torch.
The Sound Torch.
Sure.
Yeah, that's right. I do have my screen. All right. Here's a video of it. It's called the Sound Torch, and it's a speaker, but it has like little gas vents on top that you can light on fire.
That's right, exactly. And actually, the flames move to the beat of the sound, whatever it is that you're actually listening to. Very cool technology, and it's about to hit Kickstarter at an affordable price. But as of now, only 100 of these speakers are being made for the first wave. Could be a heat wave, but just something really, really cool. And thought it was
Definitely a conversation starter. It's like, hey, you know your speaker's on fire, right? It's like, oh, it does that all the time.
I'll say, conversation starter. It's like, hey, fire! Like that's like start of a conversation. Start and end of an abrupt conversation.
Come on, baby, light my fire. Maybe exactly.
What else we got? Quick, rapid fire. What other articles we got?
No, that's it, pretty much.
No, that's it. We have to wrap it up now.
Yes, we do. And let's talk a little bit of what's coming up tomorrow night. Tomorrow night in the first hour, as I said, Aaron.
Devilishly handsome guest coming on in the first hour.
Yes, our webmaster.
Roguish.
Aaron is going to be on, and we're going to be talking about the website and all the new things and new features that we're adding to it. And he's going to join us in the first hour. And then in the second hour, we're going to have a company called Aerodrums. And this is kind of interesting. I watched the video, but basically, this is virtual drumsticks. I mean, they actually exist. You have a pair of drumsticks, but they have motion sensors of some sort that let you play the drums, but in the air. There are no drums.
90 seconds.
You can actually play drums by, just moving the sticks and hitting the different things. And also you have two little gadgets go on your feet, so you can hit the bass drums as well. And basically, if you watch the video, you can actually see this. You watch this guy play the drums, but there are no drums there. Anyway, we're going to have the creator of Aerodrums, Richard Lee, is going to be on with us in the second hour. And then, if in time allowing, we'll have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities.
60 seconds.
The official optimization software of Computer America. Again, I want to thank Mike Cermak for joining us in the first hour. Those wonderful trivia questions. And thanks to him again for joining us. Again, tomorrow night, Aaron will be in the first hour, and then Aerodrums in the second hour of the show. Don't forget our contests. Just go to computeramerica.com and enter the contest as usual. We will be awarding prizes as we move to social networks, and Aaron will explain how that's going to work tomorrow night. But thank you so much for being here, and Ben and I and Aaron will see you tomorrow night. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never become floppy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
10 seconds.
Good night. Time for a reboot.
Boo.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, everybody, thanks again for watching us on our live video stream. And as I said, it'll be myself, Ben, and Aaron tomorrow night, and then Aerodrums on tomorrow night Computer America show. Have a good one. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Night.